the first week, you have to wind up at least 12 chapter of physics, chemistry, and maths. And from Monday to Saturday, this will be the best timetable, that in that 6 days, you are going to cover 12 topics each day, 2 topics. And on Sunday, you will go for at least 200 MCQ based on these 12 chapters. For the next week, you have to again select the 12 most difficult topics which you feel that these 12 topics in physics, chemistry, and maths are difficult, and I feel difficulty in these type of topics. So prepare for these 12 difficult topic, your notes, your planning, and what are the NCRT mentioned in these 12 topics. So NCRT play a very important role as well as the key role in the JEE Mains, because maximum questions are based on NCRT. So in JEE Advanced, the pattern is entirely different. But if you talk about the JEE Main, it is purely NCRT based. If you wind up the entire syllabus from NCRT, it will give you an edge. And the second most important part is that there are several students who keep on asking what are the important topic, what are the important chapters. So there is no important chapter in JEE Main. If you analyze the 2021 JEE Main paper, 2020 paper, and there are 25 questions. Like last year, there are 30 questions because there are few integer-based questions. You have got 5 more questions. So if you see all these questions, these 30 questions are from 30 different chapters. So if you analyze physics, chemistry, and maths and count all the chapters, there are 75 chapters in physics, chemistry, and maths in JEE Main syllabus that include 11th and 12th. And almost every chapter you will get one topic, one questions. So every topic, every chapter is important. And if you feel that in the last moment, there are few topics which are weak, just cover the NCRT, solve the NCRT textbook solutions, solve the NCRT MCQ questions, and do more practice for the formula based question, because all the questions are formula based, simple. So winding up the NCRT, I think you will get an edge over others.
Right. Thank you, sir, for that advice. And coming to Dr. Kunal, sir, what would you like to advise them, since they were mentally prepared? I think they knew that, yes, the exams would be starting very soon, and now it has been shifted ahead. So, what kind of impact does this leaves, on a student's mind?
First of all, thank to all of you for having me over here. The thing is that first we have to understand one thing, that and on this particular aspect I'm going to operate like a broadsword, I cannot operate like a scalpel. The thing is that the JEE Main, when you talk about JEE Main or JEE Advanced, the first thing that every single student must keep in their mind is that these are rejection tests, these are not selection tests. So let's be very frank. Now, the second aspect is that yes, it is a bit difficult from the student's perspective when they are mentally prepared for exam and the exam got delayed at the last moment. It doesn't give any age to the student, other than it creates some backlogs. So now what they can do at this point of time, at this juncture of time, so that they can put forward or they can move ahead with the rest. 3 things, which I think there should be a 3R formula, that is recalibrate, readjust, and recalculate. These are the 3 things which the student do right now. Now, if you see from a student's perspective, to all my dear student, I think everyone is crystal clear that in which particular zone they are competing. And that is the most clear thing, the most clear indication every student must have in their mind, right? See, if my preparation level is to get 150 marks or 160 marks, and if you're targeting or if you're aspiring something to get 99.9 percentile, that is not going to happen. My preparation level will only reach me somewhere around 97 percentile, 98 percentile. So that calculation, every student has to be very clear. What is my competitive zone, what I'm aspiring to target, and what marks I'm aiming. Now, coming to the execution part, if you see JEE Main, it is broadly different from JEE Advanced only in one aspect, and that aspect is that in JEE Main, most of the questions are single layered question. What do you mean by single layered question? One question will be based on only one particular formula. JEE Advanced, majority of the questions are multi-layered questions, where one particular question will be involving the concept from 2 to 3 different subtopics. Sometimes they can be from 2 different topics also. But let me tell you here, the students sometimes get misguided here. In what kind of way? They think that JEE Advanced questions are much more difficult because they are multi-layered question, and JEE Mains question are easier question because they are single-layered question. But there comes a disadvantage also. What is that? The disadvantage of the single layered question is that if you do not remember the exact formula to be applied, as Sir said in the previous discussion, if you forget that particular formula, no way you are going to get the answer. right? So the advantage of the multi-layered question is that if there are three concepts, three different subtopics are involved, even if you forget one particular subtopic, you will get some kind of way to attack the question at least. So there is a window open for JEE advanced question. JEE main mein wo window band hai aapke paas. You will not get that window, right? Fine. The next part is that when you are preparing, if I talk about precisely marks division, I'm coming later. First, I'm talking just preparation for the next 2 months. Well, I think Sarah has winded up everything. The thing is that here we have to be extremely careful while we are revising. That is the most important point. We are not going to do rereading. ये हम लोग का recapitulation है, learning नहीं है. This phase is not the learning phase. This is the revision phase. So what is supposed to be done in the revision phase? I always tell to my student is that those students who have a solid, compact, congruent, and beautifully written lecture copy, they will get a tremendous edge at this particular point of time. If you are not having a very accurate lecture copy, then reading 3-4 different books and solving questions from the 3-4 different sources is not going to give you any edge. As I always say, that there is always a difference between knowing everything of something and something of everything. है ना, आप हर जगह थोड़ा knowledge के साथ JEE qualify नहीं कर सकते. It's not possible for you to do. So you have to get that accuracy over attempt. And the last point I will mention that when you are preparing for the topics, as Sir said previously, I will just stretch the discussion a little bit, is that if you see that the 2020 and 2021 examination, there is a great dynamic shift, the way questions are being asked. What is the dynamic shift? Earlier days, there was a difference between JEE Main and advanced syllabus. If I specifically speak from physics point of view, there are 7 chapters which were existing in JEE Main but not existing in JEE advanced. Right, and it was the same situation with chemistry, a little bit different, but lesser in number in mathematics also. And it was seen earlier days that majority, there is a huge amount of contribution from these so-called extra topics. Questions used to come. Now, the last 2 years JEE Main examination have completely shifted its gears. There are many slots, at least there are 4 slots in which not a single question came from any of these extra topics. Right, so now the student, they don't have that surety key. If I read these 7 chapters, I'm going to get 5-6 questions. That is gone. The dynamic is completely changed. So what they can do, they know their potential best. They know their strength best. So the current topic is practically on 12 syllabus, which they have studied latest. So if I focus on the 12 syllabus, and if I focus on the syllabus which is being taught later stage of class 11th, and if I assume that there is almost a symmetric distribution of the questions across 11th and 12th, so a student can easily funnel across 18 to 19 questions, right? So out of that 18, 19 question, if somebody can confidently do 16 questions or 15 questions, and if I multiply 15 into 4 becomes 60, 60 into 3 becomes 180, 180 in an average day, providing the fact that questions paper is not too easy, can lead somewhere into 98.9, 99 percentile. So that's a tremendously good result, right? The last point I will mention, don't forget, this is the year where the negative marking is also introduced in the optional question. That is a very dangerous pattern. And last year I have seen when our students were going to give the examination, many a student thought that it is probably an advantage because we got some question in option. But in majority case, it is seen that the total marks gone down because in search of the most favorable question, majority of the student wasted time. They lost time, so they could not contemplate that. So these are the aspects on which a student has to be extremely careful, and reading the dynamics of the exam and preparing as per the demand of the exam is more essential than what we are aspiring to.
Right, sir, thank you so much for that detailed overview of the entire thing. And I think a lot of students are coming up with their questions about their focus and expected percentile and a lot of this. So I would request all of you that we will dedicate some part of this webinar dedicate entirely to your queries. So please put your queries in the Q&A section. So after a brief discussion, we'll definitely come to your questions and take up all your queries with our 2 eminent panelists. So I'll just move to another very important question. Naveen, I would like you to answer this. Since sir has mentioned about NCRT and class 12 syllabus also. So I just like to know, are NCRTs enough to clear JEE Main exam, or they need to really focus on all aspects of, the subjects, all other subjects? 100%
NCRT is enough for JEE Mains. And if if you see the overall trend from last 5 to 6 years, I haven't seen a single questions. Specifically in chemistry, all the questions are from NCRT. If you have done a very good concept clarity in NCRT, 100% you can attempt all the questions which are asked in JEE Mains. I'm not saying that for advanced NCRT is sufficient, but for at least JEE Mains, NCRT is more than sufficient. The second most important part is that maximum student face problem in JEE Mains not because of the difficulty of question, but because of the errors. See, if you do one error in your exam, you are going to lose 4 marks, and from your competitor, you are going to create 5 marks difference because you score -1. So one error lose 5 marks. And if you see the stats of the last year and the score 151, the student who score 151, he scored rank almost 8,949, and 160, the score is 7,004. So there is a difference in 9 marks, and the difference in the rank is 1,945. So each question is very important, and generally students do mistake in their exam. This is the main reason maximum students fail to score good marks. And if you categorize the mistakes, the kind of mistakes students do in the JEE Main, they are broadly classified into 5 different parts. First is the mistake is because of casual attitude. Casual attitude means the student generally feels that this question is very easy, I have done multiple times. So this type of casual attitude actually leads to a mistake. This second is the conceptual error. Generally, I have seen in the class also, the student says that, yes, I understood this question, they attempted that particular question, and suddenly they feel that when you explain the right one, they feel that, yes, I misunderstood. So there is a conceptual error, and this conceptual error also makes the mistake. The third part is superficial reading of the question. Many students don't read the question carefully. And if you superficially read the question, 100% sure that you are going to do a mistake. And third part is improper visualization. This is again the most important category by which the student make mistake. Improper visualization means in the question, it is mentioned in the kilojoule, let's say data, and in the 4 option, there is a joules. So they misunderstood the kilojoule, joule, the unit measurement, improper visualization, and they do mistakes in maximum question. And the last category of mistake is wrong interpretation. Maximum time I have seen that the interpretation towards the question are wrong. And through wrong interpretation, they judge the question and attempt that particular question. And again, they do mistake. So if you are very clear and you can able to restrict the mistakes, I am 100% sure if you have wind up your NCRT, you can score 250 plus in the JEE Main.
Right. Thank you, sir, for that answer and that elaborate thing. All right. I'll just come to another very important question. I'm sure a lot of them want to know that if they haven't prepared or started the preparation till date, so is it possible that students can prepare in just 2 months time and sit for the exam? So Dr. Kunal, if you would like to take that.
Yeah, first of all, it is really a very difficult question to answer. I mean, 2 months, if we see in that way, I mean, the thing is that again, I will say that point that a student has to be very clear in the basic mathematical aspect which he or she is aspiring. I mean, this is a clarity that should be there in a student's mind. So if I consider that question, if I take that question, the student, can they prepare? So that means they don't have clarity till now in their mind, right? So now, is it possible? Yes, it is possible to take preparation. Now, why I say that? If somebody is aspiring to score 99 percentile in these 2 months, absolutely not possible. There is no way, right? But yes, can he or she reach somewhere? Yeah, definitely he or she can reach somewhere. See, qualifying JEE Main is not a big deal. It's a very simple thing. You know, merely you need, I mean, hardly 17, 18 questions to cut through, right? So point is that how much I can get so that I get placed in a respected NIT or IIIT or in a good engineering college, right? So if I see in that aspect, the marks ranges between 135 to around 157. So if I consider 140 marks is to be a marks to reach at some place, right? Someplace, some kind of respected total. So 140, if you divide it by 4, you will see that the number is coming somewhere between 35, right? Now let us divide into deep down level. If you see 35, I am talking about 3 subjects. So in one particular subject, I am talking about 35 divided by 3, the number comes down to 12 approximately. So if you say 12 question per subject, 12 question per subject, the number is coming down even lesser than 50% of what the total paper is asking, right? So point is that now what a student can do to attack this 12 question, they have to do a rigorous research. What are the rigorous research? That what are the things that is being asked, first point. That means which are the chapters from which questions I can solve. It's not like which are the chapters from which questions are being asked. There are many chapters from which they ask some tricky questions, and if you're not in a position to prepare, you will definitely not be able to get those questions. You will get it wrong. So point is that which are the chapters from which you can take a question head on. So first you have to note it down, right? So if I assume that again there is a 100% distribution symmetrically between the chapters of 11th and 12th, so I will consider there are 12 chapters from which I can take questions head on. So 6 chapters coming from 11th and 12th. I generally advise in that circumstance, you don't take it like that. You better take 8-4 or 9-3. That means you choose 8 chapters from class 12 syllabus because you have remembered it recently, and 4 chapters from class 11th, which are easy chapters, right? So from those chapters, 3 things you have to do. First thing is that make a quick revision from the lecture note only. Don't try to read many books. There is a kahavat in Hindi, घाट घाट का पानी पियोगे तो पेट तुम्हारा ही खराब होगा. So you cannot read from multiple sources. You have to read from one particular source only. And for that, wherever you are reading, your lecture note should be the ultimate thing. You have to be very focused on your lecture note. And after reading the lecture note, make quick brief points. Writing formula is the most essential thing because ultimately questions will be based on one particular formula in JEE Main. So you have to remember those formulas. So writing them again and again, and if possible, if time permits, practice few previous year's question paper. Because if you see in JEE Main, there is not much innovation or creativity in terms of the question. They keep on repeating the same sense time and again. So especially in the last 5 years, the kind of dynamics we are seeing, they are not giving very creative questions. So you have to solve few POIQ paper, and you have to go through your lecture note, jot them down, and try to write the formulas at least twice a day from those chapters. That will help you out to reach somewhere. But again, I am saying that it's a very risky game. It's a very tricky game. In 2 months' time, it is very difficult. Yes, exceptions will be there, but it's a difficult ball game altogether.
Right. And Naveen sir, what would be your take, just extending the same question to you? What would be your take on these last 2 months, last 2 month preparation, if they're not prepared well before and they just want to, do everything in these 2 months and sit for the exam? What's your take on that?
See, if you have prepared your class 12th as well as 11th very well, then the last 2 months are sufficient for the complete revision. For example, if you are unable to wind up your concept of class 11th and 12th so far, and in last 2 months, the syllabus is very high to wind up. The most important thing for JEE Mains is just to understand this with a new concept. Let's say a particular chapter, you require 10 hours to learn. Let's say any topic you consider, and to wind up that particular chapter, you require 10 hours. So at first, 10-hour learning, you are going to understand that particular chapter. This is a very simple maths. Now, after calculating, after listening this concept, you will understand that is it possible to crack JEE Mains in 2 months? So if one topic you need 10 hours of time, so what we say is just today you have wind up one chapter and you have spent the required 10 hours of time, let's say, and you are going to solve the question which is given in your booklet, in your textbook, and you have seen that you can able to solve almost all the questions. But if the same chapter is done 6 months before and you are trying to solve the numerical, the MCQ based questions based on that particular chapter, you will face difficulty, right? So the calculation is that, so if you have done a topic and you have spent 10 hours to understand that topic, so this is what we call fresh topic in your brain. We required 90% fresh topic in your brain from almost all 75 chapters of physics, chemistry, and maths. Let's say if one chapter required 10 hours to understand. So for the first revision of that particular chapter, again required 7 to 8 hours time for 100% fresh. And for the next time revision, it required 5 to 6 hours of time. And the third revision, it required 5 to 10 minutes of time to do 100% fresh recall. So if you calculate that out of these 75 topics, I have almost 70 topics, 100 fresh in my mind when I'm going to appear for JEE Mains, 100% sure that you are going to score more than 200 marks. And if this can be achieved in the 2 months, then I am sure that in 2 months, you can able to revise the entire syllabus.
Right, absolutely. Thank you, sir, for that answer. Okay, I see a lot of questions coming here. Yes, we will be taking your queries. Please have some patience. We'll definitely take your queries. I could see a lot of them putting up their queries over here. So I'll just take few questions from them. Okay, so Shreyas says, how could I recall all study, revision, and crack JEE in 2 months? So Shreyas, I think we are actually in that explanation itself, and I think both our experts have already given you a very good term, thing how to you can crack JEE in 2 months and how you should revise and work on this. Okay, I'll move to another question. Okay, so Uday says, what to do while taking breaks during studies? I'm unable to find something that takes my mind off while also not being too distracting. Okay, so I think he wants to say that he's getting distracted too much while studying. So he just wants to get some knowledge that how he can take small breaks and still concentrate on his revision and plan. So Saddal sir, would you like to take that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, this is a very common symptom among the students. With due respect to all of you, is that, see, 11th and 12th brains are literally not very mature brains. You have to accept the fact that you are going through, and I must appreciate the fact that in my study time, actually, I was not this much trained up as these people are. So yes, they are stressed up. But sometimes what happens, you only increase your stress level. How? I will explain literally. See, if you see a subject like physics, chemistry, and math, you have to remember one thing: you are dealing with core science. So whenever you are dealing with core science, reading a subject for 6 hours, reading a subject for 4 hours doesn't make a sense at all. You cannot, your brain will not permit. So whenever you are going to revise, whenever you are going to practice questions, or whenever you are going to learn, I think 1.5 hours is a huge time, at a stretch with full concentration. If you give your concentration on 100% level, and if you're stretching for 1.5 hours, that's a huge time. So after every 1.5 hours, you have to go through some kind of recreation event. And now let's be very frank. To me, I mean, which keep me off, listening to music is the most beautiful thing. Why I say? Because generally music is a kind of thing which will relax your, it will give you relaxation from mental strength point of view, and it is a thing which will not deviate you much, right? So deviation, I think it lot depends on you, what kind of deviation you are attracted to. But if you stick to your study plan, I mean, not stretching a subject beyond your capacity level is the most important thing, because then fatigue will come. If you keep on repeating for 6 days, 7 days a week, then there will be a break-even point come after which you cannot proceed even. So don't allow that. And I also say that if your preparation level is intact, if it is good, if you think that you are up to the toes whenever you are attempting papers, you are scoring decent enough marks. So there is no point of stressing you much before the exam. The 2 months to go, well, fine. You make a daily plan, 8 hours of self-study in systematic step. And obviously, every day with free mind, it is very, very important to write at least one exam, because simulating the real test, and specifically if you want to be expert on scoring marks, that without giving much negative, practice makes a huge difference. Because most of the students, if you see, they don't have this calculation of examination in their mind properly. So yes, 1.5 hours for me, study a subject at a stage, take a break, listening to music is the most important thing, and then come back again. And it is better if you do in a reverse order, that revision, practice, revision, practice, revision, practice. And then before going to bed at the evening time, when you are most relaxed, try to attempt a paper. Again, I'm repeating, do not attempt a paper when you are most stressed. Attempt a paper when you are most relaxed, because that will give you confidence. If you're scoring consistently, it doesn't matter you score huge in one exam, next exam you score less, that will not give you a question. Your performance should not be a wavy curve, it must be a constant graph. So if you maintain that consistency, the same consistency will be reflected in the original exam. That's my take.
Right, and I think that valuable piece of advice should go out to all the students who will be appearing for this exam. So please make a very good note of all the discussions that we're doing here, because this will really help you cope up in these 2 months. All right. So I'll just come to the syllabus part. I think that is one of the very important topic that we should discuss about. So if we talk about the entire syllabus of JEE Main, so they have a very common question that, is it important to cover the entire syllabus, or there are certain topics that can be skipped? So Naveen sir, if you would like to take that.
That I have already explained that it is very important to cover all the 75 chapters of physics, chemistry, and maths. Why I am saying like that? Now, I am a chemistry teacher. Let me explain through chemistry part. So if you see 2021 questions of all the 4 sessions, and you get 30 questions in each session, right? So there are 30, almost 29 and 30 chapters. So from every chapter, there is one question. So how you define the importance of a particular chapter? Let's say people face difficulty in the ionic equilibrium, but simultaneously people think that the surface chemistry part is very simple, right? So there is a one question from ionic equilibrium, one question is from surface chemistry. So it is really difficult to say that this topic is very important, but you can say that there are few chapters which actually required to have a foundation for other chapters. For example, in the organic chemistry, if your hydrocarbon part is very strong, you can answer a lot of questions from organic chemistry. So in that perspective, there are few topics which are important because they are interlinked, right? But that doesn't mean that that particular topic is important for the entrance exam, because in entrance exam, they have distributed widely through the NCRT textbook. So if there are 30 chapters in 11th and 12th in the chemistry, there are 30 questions from almost all 30 chapters. There are few exams I have seen, there are 2 to 3 chapters through which they have not asked the question. So and this is valid for all subjects. So it is really important to wind up the chapters from all the syllabus. If there are few topics, so you must write down that, let's say there are 70 chapters in physics, chemistry, and maths. And some people say that my physics is weak, my chemistry is weak, my maths is weak. Just remove that particular weakness. You just write down your strength of the topic. So let's say there are 40 topics on which I am comfortable. These are the 30 topic which is moderate kind of thing. These are the 15 topic which I actually face problem, or I don't know how to learn these 15 topics, right? So pick that 15 topic, which I have already just explained what is the right strategy to revise the entire syllabus. Pick that 15 difficult chapters, start reading with the NCRT. Don't go for the details, don't go for the long examples, and don't do the subjective question at this time. Just make sure that you have completed the NCRT, your notes are adequate, and the question which are asked in that particular difficult topic is also very simple from the NCRT, right? So like this, you have to block each and every chapters rather than to pick the important topic. So try to wind up all the 75 chapters. If the topic which are weak, just wind up from the NCRT. Make sure that you have prepared your notes from the NCRT for those difficult topics.
Right. Thank you, sir, for that answer. And I think that very well answers that, yes, what all is important and what you cannot really skip. So just adding a part to the same question, is there any important topics that have a more weightage in the entire exam compared to the other topics? Is there something like that?
No, I don't think there are some important chapters or some important topic for the JEE Main perspective, right? But there are some important chapters for your subject perspective, right? For example, just I have mentioned that in organic chemistry, the hydrocarbon is the important chapter to build the organic chemistry strong. Similarly, for physical chemistry, there are few topics which are important for the physical chemistry, not for the JEE Mains. Let's say if I say thermodynamics and thermochemistry is important, you must do it, because thermodynamics, the question you will face the question in the chemistry as well as in the physics, and the thermodynamic part remain constant for both the subjects. So like this, the importance of the chapter is towards the particular subject, not with the JEE Mains. So there is no such important chapter for JEE Mains, but there are important chapter for your subjects.
Right. Thank you, sir, for that answer. I'll just shift to a few more questions that they have. Okay. So one of them says, please tell us about the 5 types of mistakes which we commit during attempting questions. and there are a lot of things that they do, go through while sitting, preparing for the exams and while attempting the question paper. So Sajjal sir, would you like to take that?
Yeah. First of all, I am going to work on the remedial thing rather than explaining that how you are going to commit mistake. I will go to the root why a student essentially does any kind of mistake. See, whenever you are solving a question, the question can be of JEE Main standard, advanced standard, any exam. There are few steps of solving a question. The first step is reading. Second step is conceptualization. Third step is calculation. The fourth step is ticking or marking the correct answer. Now I will take that where the student does mistake. From the student perspective, they take maximum time in calculation, maximum time. Then they take some time on conceptualization, the next important part, and they give or they allot least amount of time to read the question. Now, if you see the JEE main perspective, in JEE mains, apart from one or two questions in each subject, generally the number goes higher in mathematics because it is seen the common perception is that the mathematics papers are generally lengthy in JEE Main. But if I see from physics chemistry point of view, there will be hardly one or two questions which are calculation wise very lengthy. Otherwise, the questions generally are single letter, as I explained, formula oriented question, and the calculations are very simple. So that means the calculation should take the least time. But what a student does, he or she used to take the maximum time in calculation. Right? Now, if I have to divide the time, where I will divide the time? See, my time division will be, I will give maximum time to read the question. Why? Because the JEE main level question doesn't require too much conceptualization or visualization because they are direct formula related questions, right? If you remember, it clicks the bullseye, then you'll be able to hit it. If you don't remember, you'll not be able to hit it, right? So there is not much scope for visualization. So, or conceptualization. So that means whenever you are reading the question, if you are reading the question properly by taking maximum amount of time, then visualization or conceptualization comes along reading the question. Right. Then there is calculation and taking the right answer. So if I think the student, if you go in that way, and if you allot proper time to read the question, what happens, whenever a student used to scroll through the question papers, then they will start from question number 1 and they will get tuck, 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 one by one. So if you divide the entire time divided by 30 questions, the time is very less. But if you know your limits, if you know that I am going to attempt this many questions, if you know your strategy, then obviously you will cut down the number from 30 to 20 to 25, or let's say 22. Then time allotted per question automatically increases. So if you calculate in that way, let's say if it is coming 3 minutes, then out of the 3 minutes, 1.5 minutes or 1 minute, I am going to solely dedicate to read the question completely. So if you read the question completely, then you do the calculation and take the answer, I think mistakes will not happen. But if you do it in a hurry, definitely it's going to occur. And the second most important thing, why I said that attempting a paper is very important every day, because sometimes you encounter the points which is beyond your expectation. I will just give one example that I have seen, that when one of my students was preparing, and he was a very good student, but because of that mistake, he had to go through repetition. What is that? That whenever you are reading the question, sometime when the student used to do, they used to jumble up in the sense that they are first started doing physics paper, they found it difficult, they scrolled through, then they went to chemistry and did that. So my point is that do not do in this random and haphazard way. Whenever you are having the paper, you will be able to scroll through the entire paper. So first 10 minutes, or let's say first 5 minutes, solely dedicate to read the entire paper. So whenever you are going through the questions in every single subject, you will get to know that in any particular subject, the paper is relatively easy. It cannot happen that in all three all three subjects, the paper is of same standard. It cannot happen. There will be a little bit ups and downs. So whenever you are giving that sufficient time, 5 minutes time to go through the papers of 3 subjects, then as per your strength, you attempt the first paper first. And I always say that whenever you are able to solve the first 5 questions of your attempt, whenever you're giving the exam, will give you huge confidence. If you get stuck in the first 5 questions, you're going to ruin your exam. It cannot happen. You should not attempt anything which is of doubt in the first 5 questions. So you have to make it clear, right? If you think you're strong in mathematics, you have a great strength, go through the mathematics question, but make sure that first 5 questions you are getting on your way. So these are the unencountered scenes which you will see in the exam hall, because it's a very dynamic exam. You can make 10,000 strategy, but you will be encountering a completely different scenario. So right in the beginning, I said, recalibrate and readjust is the most effective tool that you have to use. So read the question properly, invest maximum time in reading, and have the flexibility in mind so that you are going through the entire paper and readjusting your strategy. That's it. That's the strength.
Right. Thank you, sir, for that valuable piece of advice. I'll quickly come to some other questions. I think a lot of them want to know how they can plan their day-to-day basis in terms, of preparing and solving questions and sitting for the, mock test. So, Naveen, sir, would you like to help them with like kind of study plan that they can follow in these 2 months and, do more of mock test, and what importance mock test papers do have?
Fine. So you have 2 months of time. I'm going a bit slow for this part. You just start noting down. So if you have almost 70 days of time, that means we have 10 weeks in our hand from today itself, right? So I am giving you a best strategy how to utilize these 10 weeks. So just write down the entire study plan and try to just follow this and make your own timetable, right? So first week, that is week 1, from Monday to Saturday, you have to wind up, revise the entire chapter, select 12 easy chapter of physics, chemistry, maths. Easy means the chapter which you feel easy. So what you have to do, you have to wind up 2 chapters each day, and all the 12 topics, all the 12 chapters are easy. So first week, Monday to Saturday, you are going to revise 12 easy chapter of physics, chemistry, and maths. And on Sunday, first half, you have to do the final revision of these 12 topics. And the second half, you have to solve 100 random MCQ questions based on these 12 topics which you have revised in the first week. Fine. So week 1, from Monday to Saturday, 12 easy chapters of physics, chemistry, maths. Sunday, first half revision, and the second half 100 random MCQ questions. Coming up to second week. In second week, from Monday to Saturday, you have to wind up 12 chapter which you have got very high confidence in physics, chemistry, and math, but they are not easy for you. But you are confident that these topics I can able to do. So you have to select those 12 topics, right? From Monday to Saturday. And on Sunday, what you will do, week 1 plus week 2, that means there are 24 chapters of PCM. You have to solve 200 random MCQ questions based on these 24 chapters. So these are the 2 weeks. Coming up to the third week. In the third week, you have to select 12 most important chapter of PCM. Most important means the topic which are important for your subjects, not for the JEE, right? So like, as I have mentioned in the organic, you have to pick the hydrocarbon. In physical, you have to pick the atomic structure and thermodynamics, like this. 12 most important chapter of physics, chemistry, and maths, you have to revise on week 3 from Monday to Saturday. And on Sunday, what you will do, week 1, 12 topic, take 10%. Week 2 and 3, take 90%. Like this, you have to solve 200 MCQ on the Sunday. Fine. So on week 4, that means fourth week, you have to do 12 memory-based chapters of physics, chemistry, maths. So you will get a lot of chapter in the chemistry, but you have to find out what are the topics which are basically memory-based in physics and maths. Maths you will get less, but you have to identify those 12 topics which are memory-based, right? So fourth week, you have to do 12 memory-based PCM topic. And on Sunday, you have to club week 1, week 2, 10%, and week 3, week 4, 90% of 200 MCQ. Now coming up to the week 5th. So week 5th, you have to do only 6 chapters. 6 difficult chapter of physics, chemistry, maths. Each day, you are going to do 1 topic, 1 chapter for physics, chemistry, and maths. You have to select 6 chapters. And on Sunday, you have to do only 200 MCQ based question of these 6 chapters. And in week 6th, just do 6 again, second difficult chapter. So I have say that there are 12 difficult chapter of physics, chemistry, and maths, and that required to complete 2 weeks, that is week 5th and week 6th. And again, 6th week, you are going to solve 200 MCQ based on these 6 topics. And coming up to the 7th week, so there are now 12 pending chapters of physics, chemistry, maths. Rest you have done from week 1 to week 6. So on 7th of week, you have to do these 12 pending chapter of physics, chemistry, and maths. And on Sunday, you are going to solve 200 MCQ question based on the entire syllabus of physics, chemistry, maths. Now there are 3 weeks left, week 8, week 9, and week 10. That means last month of your exam. So week 8, what you will do, you will summarize week 1, week 5, and week 6, right? Week 1, easiest topic, week 5 and 6, difficult topic. You have to summarize in these 6 days, these 24 topics. And on Sunday, you will go for 2 full mock tests. Week 9, you are going to wind up and summarize the week 2, 3, 4, and 7 chapters. That means what the chapter you have wind up in the 2nd week, 3rd week, 4th week, and 7th week, you have to revise on the 9th week. And on Sunday, again, 2 full mock tests. Week 10, you are going to revise all important formula, all the concepts only from your notes. No new things, no chapter revision, nothing. You have to do the entire revisions. Apart from that, on 10th of week, you are going to give at least 10 full mock tests. And on that Sunday, you are going to give 2 full mock tests. So this is the complete strategy for the 70 days, which consists of 10 weeks. And you are going to wind up strategically the topic which are important, easy, moderate, difficult. And based on that, you are going to complete the chapter as well as the syllabus.
Right. So I think all of you have made a good note of the entire 2 months preparation. I think sir has very well explained step by step, week by week, what all you need to do in these 2 months. So please make a study plan out of this. And I think you don't need to do anything else. You just need to study and work on this study plan and keep revising and keep noting everything. I think that will actually help them and work ahead. Sir, I'll just like to take another question from students here. A lot of them want to know what kind of like mock test should they opt for if they have to, prepare for the exams, and from if you could help them out with any resources that they can look up to. Naveen sir, if you'd like to tell them about it.
See, there are a lot of mock tests available in different book format as well as online format. I strongly recommend to go for online test mods. And if you feel that the questions are lengthy, if you feel that the questions consist of a lot of rotation in the question, so those mock tests, those online tests are not fit for JEE Main. So there are a lot of institutes who provide you the online test as well as the mock test, but just figure it out that the level of the question must be similar to JEE Mains. So the best way to identify the right mock test is to remember 2022 old question. I always used to say our students that just memorize the question which is asked in the previous year. I am not saying that these questions will be repeated, but at least you can able to understand that what kind of questions actually JEE Mains was asking. What is the length? What is the difficulty level? If you remember that particular set of questions, you easily identify that this mock test, this particular question is not relevant for JEE Mains. So identify the right set of module, identify the right set of questions, and try to give as many as mock tests as you can give if you have a very good level of revision. So give at least 1 or 2 mock tests if you have already revised. And if you are going to plan for the complete revision in these 2 months, then just follow the instruction which I have just given in 5 minutes back.
Right. Thank you, sir, for that valuable piece of advice. And I think sir needs to exit because of some very important work. So thank you, sir, for joining us here.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Naveen sir. And I would continue the webinar ahead, unfortunately, with only with Satyal sir. We really wanted to have you, but due to some unseen conditions, Naveen sir had to exit. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. All the best. Thank you.
All right. So meanwhile, we'll come to Satyal sir, and Satyal sir, you could take the flag ahead and we could continue with all the queries.
Yeah.
All right. So I think there's another interesting question, sir, that comes up here is like the student wants to know what if you're not able to score well in the mains, then what next? What should we do?
See, first of all, see, in the entrance exam preparation, confidence plays a very vital role, right? I'm again and again saying the fact that it's not like that you cannot achieve anything out of it. There are a lot of takeaway. There will be a lot of takeaway. So point is that if you strategize the preparation, if you have the proper track of what you are doing, you can definitely reach somewhere. On the first way, I do not want to discard that you cannot get it. So don't think that you cannot get it. First of all, there will be multiple attempts. It's not like that it's only one exam. There will be few attempts, and if you do some mistake in one attempt, definitely there is a chance to have a course correction, right? Now the point is that what you should do so that you are not losing in the race. As I tell always to my students, qualifying JEE main examination should not be only your target, because qualifying JEE main examination will not take you to anywhere. Let's be very practical and pragmatic. Right in the beginning, I said that I always follow the practical approach. Just qualifying JEE main exam, you will not have anything. कुछ नहीं मिलेगा, क्या मिलेगा? If you just qualify the JEE main exam, will you be allowed in any college? No, the answer is simple. So that means for us, for a serious student, if I am going to take something, if I have the sense of achievement, then for me, qualifying JEE Main exam is achieving that particular marks which can take you to a decent engineering college. If I talk about NIT, which can take you to NIT. That is our target, right? So how much marks should I have? As I told in the beginning, the range generally varies between 135 to 157. So even if I take 130 around the corner, so you have to have 130 in your bucket list to be visible on the periphery. So if it is 130, then simple calculation was divide 130 by 4 and check how many number of questions are coming. So if the number is coming to me, let us say 30 or 35 or 32, then 32 divided simply by 3, then you will have 10-11 questions per subject. Now you have to be comfortable in at least 10 chapters. Why 10 chapters? Because 11 question or 10 question will come from 10 chapters only. So my point is that rather than looking from top to bottom, it is called tofu approach. If you see the bofu approach, bottom funnel up approach, you see, let us think practically that let us say we have 25 chapters in each subject, right? In physics, in chemistry, mathematics on aggregate. So out of the 25 chapter, I have to prepare concretely and solidly in 10 chapters or 11 chapters. Pragmatic approach I am telling. So that means even if you are confident in 50% of the syllabus, you are definitely going to get admitted in one of the prestigious colleges like in NIT. So that is a practical approach. That's why in the beginning I said, never follow कि ये भी कर लो, वो भी कर लो, इससे भी पढ़ लो, वहां से भी पढ़ लो. You will not get anywhere. Take multiple resources. If you follow, that is the most dangerous thing a student can have in their life. Follow a single source, practice from a single source, and stick to your lecture note. That repeatedly I am telling. If you have a good lecture note, it's a blessing in disguise to all of you. So you bank upon that, and accordingly, if you progress, definitely you will reach somewhere and you will qualify with all due respect. Don't think again and again qualifying JEE Main is your target. That is not your target. Your target is to qualify JEE Main with marks which can take you to any NIT, and just take it like a mantra. It should hammer in your head.
Thank you, sir, for that answer. Okay, I'll just take another question from here. So another suggestion is being asked by some students about what if they plan for taking a year drop and then studying and preparing for JEE. What's your advice on that?
Yeah, first of all, I do not suggest. I will start with that. I do not suggest, but yes, I know there will be some unavoidable circumstances in a student's life, especially in a country like India. And I want to explain on that because I just want to release the stress level from you. Many a student thinks that if I cannot crack the examination on the first attempt of the running year, then probably taking a year loss is huge burden, pressurizing yourself, pressurizing family, and all these things. I'm telling you, this is not. I will just give you a simple data that we have one neighbor called China. They have around 140 crore population, and you will be stunned after knowing that how many universities they have in their country, which is almost, I can tell you, 7 to 8 times of what is the number of universities in our country with same population. We have USA, which has almost 1/3 of our population, but the number of universities they have is almost 12 times than we have today. So it's not like that you are pressurizing. This thing is that we don't have option. We have to do good. And in a country like India, doing something average will not take you to anywhere. You have to be excellent. And for that excellence will come out of hard work, not out of brilliance. I must tell you that. So don't burden you. Don't think that you are not super intellectual means cannot reach the top spot. Definitely you can. The thing is that you have to break yourself. Now, coming to the point, that how, I mean, what is the point about year loss? Yes, definitely you can. Why not? If you are confident, if you think that there are some problems, there is some problem with your preparation and you have figured them out, this is most serious point. If you have figured out in which way you went wrong, 100% thumbs up from my side, go ahead for the dropout batch. But if you are yet to figure out what went wrong, then getting a thought of dropping, first you think in what way you went wrong, then you think for the droppers preparation. I think that is a much better way, right? And I will tell the last thing, that taking a drop or not taking a drop, it depends on another factor also. There is a 10-15% stake which is not in your hand, because you do not know what is going to be the gravity or intensity of the paper that you are going to face. Right? It has been seen in last 2-3 years, JEE Main paper standard are widely changing from slot to slot. In one slot, it is coming dead easy, easier than boards. And in last attempt, there are few slots, at least 2 slots, in which the paper standard was at par with JEE Advanced. So that means that can also happen with you. But in that situation, you have to maintain your calmness. You have to be as cool as cucumber. That if the paper standard is very tough, there is no Einstein or Richard Feynman sitting in the exam hall. If it is tough for you, it is tough for everyone, right? So the average marking is going to come down. If it is normal circumstance 140, in that particular slot, it will come down to 100 or even maybe lesser. So that calibration you have to do in the exam hall. So there will be things which is not in your hand. But last point I will say, taking a call on dropper. One, if you know in what way you went wrong, thumbs up from my side, go ahead. But if you are yet to figure out, then first you take that time to figure out in which way you went wrong. Then you think that whether to drop or not. Dropper idea is not a bad idea, especially in our country. It's a good idea.
Right. I think that would help a lot of students. Okay, Payal, we already discussed what to do if you can't concentrate while studying. I think Sadal sir has answered really well. So if you watch the entire video, which will be there on YouTube, I think you will get a lot of tips for, putting your concentration while studying. So please work on that. Okay. And Pratyusha, about JEE Advanced, we are coming up with more webinars on JEE Advanced. So please do not worry. Have some patience. We'll be sharing all the relevant information for JEE Advanced as well, because this session was entirely dedicated to JEE Mains. So definitely we will have a webinar on that, right? Okay, Harsh has a question. I'd like to take the last question, because Harsh is very keen on knowing how to avoid an off day, the day we don't feel like studying. I think that's a very relevant and interesting question, again, coming from students.
Yeah, I mean, yes, Harsh, it's a very good question. It doesn't happen only to students' life. It happens to an employee's life also. The cutoff is needed, cutoff is needed. But actually, Harsh, I will tell you, taking a cutoff while preparing in the regular course of 11th and 12th is a very easy ball game. If you ask me the same question when you're preparing in class 11th and 12th, I will say definitely. Why, Harsh? Why for one day? Go for 3 days, no problem. Cut it off. It is needed. But at this particular time, Harsh, it will be difficult. Why? I will tell you. Because if you take cutoff now, because you are in a mindset, right? Your brain has gone to the workforce mood. Your brain is now fully focusing for the entrance exam. So if you now just swivel it off, then it may also happen that to detune and retune, it will take another 7 days or 6 days. That is very dangerous. We are not in a position to lose time. So rather, I will say, do not take a complete day off. If you are really stressed up, go and watch out a movie, listen to good musics. And I am a bookworm. I always suggest my student, there are plenty of books in the market, buddy, which you can read, and books are the things, that can really cut you off. Not related to physics, chemistry, and math. Read something, cut off, but not for a full day, for few hours or for half a day. Then again, next morning, you bounce back with the same intensity. But if there is any student who is in regular 11th and 12th, my suggestion will be not one day, take 2-3 days, cut off completely, readjust, and then come back.
I totally agree to that. That is just not for students. I think this goes for everyone, all of us. I mean, we need some break and some gap. But since we are talking about JEE Mains, so you really need to work on a lot of things. You really need to take a break, relax, and work on. As Sir has mentioned, the entire session, he has really focused on not stressing out, but just being relaxed and working on your study plan. I think that really works for them students. They really are stressed and they really know that what it all goes on. And I think they really understand They have a different level of difficulty that they are facing right now. But I think if you watch the entire video, I think there are a lot of good advice tips coming from both the panelists, and they have shared how you can live stress-free, study hard, and prepare well for your exams. Also, I'm just shooting a poll right now. I think all of you, all the students can see this feedback poll. Please note, this is a very important feedback poll for all of us, because we really like to know how was this session useful to all of you? How was this 60 minutes, dedicated entirely to your queries and everything you wanted to know about JEE Mains in the last 2 months? So I think we did try to solve all your queries. Be for your mind, be for your mental health, be for your study preparation, be for your syllabus. So I think we did try to help and solve all the queries. But in case some of your queries are left out because owing to the time strain that we have, so I'm sharing a link over here that you can always come up to and put your queries, and we'll get those answers solved from our experts, from our panelists who are there to help you out. And if you need more help, if you want to connect with any of the panelists, you can always reach out to us, and we'll try to help you and guide you with the panelists and with the experts, right? So please make good use of this link and register yourself. Also, you'll find the entire video available on our YouTube official channel. So you can just log in there, subscribe our channel, and you can watch the entire video, right? So, sir, thank you so much for joining us here. And I think this session was quite helpful for all the students, and I think they have made good use of it. And I think that would work for them. So I hope we'll come up with more sessions like this. We'll come up with JEE Advanced as well.
Just a quick note, ma'am. Just seems many of the students are asking, I can see on the chat box. See, I feel one thing to you, that do not worry about the advanced too much right now, because the basic demand of these two exams are completely different in design by itself. Where in JEE Main you have to score more marks, in JEE Advanced you have to score more accuracy. So I think if you just get focused for JEE Main just now to score a very good percentile, that will give you enormous confidence in the gap between the two exams to score really well. So don't think too much about the advanced as of now. Please just think about mains and try to score as much as possible.
I totally agree to that, sir. And I think that will really help them and understand. And I wish all the best. So last piece of advice you would like to give to them?
No, I mean, that's it. I have a very simple advice. I'm a fun-loving person. I'm an easygoing person. I truly believe that everybody is a champ. The students who are tackling the 3 subjects, physics, chemistry, and mathematics. If you frankly ask me, my specialization is core physics. I come from hardcore theoretical physics background. It is much more easier for me because I only deal with one subject. But for a student who is preparing to deal with physics, chemistry, and mathematics, and that to other language subject, is really, really a difficult job. So I am very much compassionate to them, but at the same time, we have to go through the competition. We have to crack the exam at the end of the day. And that is only possible when you are not too much stressed up, when you are not filling your brains with too much stuff. Stick very basic, very simple. I think all of you love cricket. If you see those cricketers are immensely successful who follow the basic correctly. So there is not much flamboyancy of to show. Just stick to the basic, be cool, and go as per your strategy. That's all. That will lead you to a successful path. Don't worry too much.
Absolutely. And thank you, sir, for your valuable time and all the valuable piece of advice. And thank you all the students, and we wish you all the best ahead for the exam.
Thank you very much. Thank you.